Hello, and welcome to Winton Woods Intent, a monthly program brought to you by the Winton Woods School District and Waycross Community Media. I'm Jason Grisgoric. What is our intent? We want to give the Winton Woods School District and the superintendent the opportunity to speak directly to you, the Winton Woods School family. Each month, Superintendent Anthony Smith and myself will sit down with members of the school system to deliver a simple message, great changes and wonderful events that are happening here within the district. Unfortunately, on our inaugural show, Mr. Smith is not here, but there's reasons for that because it's all directed to what we're talking about today. But I am fortunate to have with me, to my right, Karina Denny, the Community and Public Engagement Coordinator. Mm-hmm. I know it's a long title, but they're the fun ones. Right. And Dr. Terry Holden, the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning. Yes. And we're here to learn a little bit about something new called the New Tech Network. Who's going to tackle this big definition question of what is a new technology?
I'll do that, Jason. So the New Tech Network is a national organization. It's basically a school transformation organization.
Okay.
And they really they have a distinct model that has at its center project-based learning. So with New Tech, students interact with their coursework in a project-based learning format. So almost everything is delivered that way. The New Tech Network relies a lot on technology. Mm-hmm. So what they call, that's right, a one-to-one model. So either some schools operate with labs in every classroom. Some schools operate on a one-to-one where students are assigned their own laptop for use or device for use. So it's with the technology that New Tech has a what we call in the education world a learning platform. Okay. So it's if you're familiar with Google or Blackboard, it's something like that, and on that web platform, mm-hmm. all their coursework lives.
Okay.
So with New Tech and project-based learning. Mm-hmm. Teachers roll out projects, and then students learn all of the regular academic content standards. So everything that we are required to teach from the Ohio Department of Education, we would do within that project-based learning model.
Would you call this more like a 22nd century learning model to school? I mean, where will the traditional versus the, I guess you would call it new learning? Obviously, they're going to merge to create something new.
Right. I would call it 22nd, 21st and a half century.
Okay, there we go. We'll meet in the middle.
Learning. It's different. It's completely different from a traditional classroom. New Tech really has 4 principles as their foundation.
Sure.
So one is teaching that engages. Well, how do they do that? Through project-based learning, through technology. Culture that empowers. So within the New Tech model, there is much emphasis put on adult culture and student culture in terms of how do we make adults feel more powerful and feel more ownership of their own environment, as well as students. How do we engage students in the learning process, give them a voice, create this, the buzzword now, this growth mindset.
Okay.
So that they can approach tasks or projects with the belief that they're going to be successful in that. New Tech also uses technology sure. that enables, and then the 4th piece to New Tech is what they call outcomes that matter. Okay. Really, how do we prepare our children in the classroom, both with what we call the hard stuff, the academics, and the soft skills, thinking, speaking, writing. How do we prepare them for what comes next? Is that college? How do we prepare them for that? Is that careers? How do we prepare them for that?
This is obviously not it's a new thing for us here at Winton Woods, but it's not new to the states. Have we seen progress in other states that made Dr. Smith go, or Mr. Smith go, you know what? Yes. This is what the Winton Woods School District needs.
Actually, we've seen it at Winton Woods because when I was principal of the high school, we applied for a grant from the state of Ohio, an Innovative Schools grant that we were awarded. So we got about $750,000 to start a school within a school.
Okay.
That was in 2011, that first school year, 11-12. And so we created the Academy of Global Studies,
Yes.
which is partnered with New Tech. It's also partnered with another organization out of the Asia Society, but New Tech is really the foundation of that. And so last May of 15, we had our first graduating class from the Academy of Global Studies. Now, they're Winton Woods High School graduates, but much of their schoolwork was in the Academy. And what we found was, both quantitatively, test scores, GPA, course grades, they outperformed their peers who were not in the Academy of Global Studies. And then qualitatively, I like to say that I could spot an AGS student from a mile away. They have presence, they have confidence, they're well-spoken, they are not afraid to speak to any adult or anyone, really. So this notion of extemporaneous speaking, they're on it like that.
I think you use the buzzword, and I liked it, engaging. Do you think that engagement of the project, the engagement between teacher and student, is making that difference and making New Tech work in Winton Woods?
I absolutely do. I think it's the engagement. I think it's the ability to reframe the academic content into something that's meaningful for students. So, I've had a lot of training from New Tech, and so what it really does is it shapes your brain differently. So as I'm at home watching the news or out and about, always through my mind is oh my gosh, I think that's a project. I think we could teach students this through this project. So when we saw the results from students in the academy, and they were able to enter the academy. There was no test, no screening. You had to want to come an extra bell a day, be in this environment. There are a couple other requirements, but so there was no screening.
Okay.
And so given that and the results, as a district, we felt, how can we, in good conscience, seeing that this works, not provide this opportunity for all of our other children?
And it sounds like it's a growing thing that is coming from, as you said, and I like the way it was kind of presented, for those who can't necessarily grasp the academic portion or really are engaged in that academic portion, but excel and thrive when it comes to a project of some sort or something that's tactile to them.
Correct.
And it sounds like you're saying that those are the students that are now excelling even further, that are going to excel and make Winton Woods a better place.
Right. So we had some very bright students involved in the model early on. Those are the types of students I like to say, whether it's at Winton Woods or any of our neighboring districts, they're going to succeed with or without us. But I like to think that the model sharpens their skills, makes them stronger, makes them even more critical in their thinking and problem solving. For the average student, it really helps them develop more of that growth mindset, helps them, again, gain more academic skills while they're getting the other skills. And then for students who struggle, they might struggle academically, but if they're good socially, then the whole collaborative nature of it really helps them thrive. And so what we've seen happen is that then allows it to come full circle, and so it comes back and has an impact on their academics.
That is absolutely wonderful. It sounds like, I'm going to ask this question early on, and I was going to kind of save it more towards the end, but we're looking at, obviously, what are the students expecting of it, and how are they, I'm hoping, excited for it. And let's look at the other side, the teachers as well. Obviously, this is going to be something new that they're going to have to learn as well.
Right. Well, I think the students, in my experience, students go as we go. So we are models for them. If we're excited about it, they're excited about it. I think sometimes we say these students are unmotivated and they don't want to work hard. And I think really everybody's motivated to do everything. It just may not be what we want them to be motivated to do. So I think will take their cues from us. In terms of teachers, I think they're asking the right questions. Many of them are excited. So we have a 3-year rollout, so 2 schools a year. In the schools, some teachers in the schools in year 2 or in year 3, they're like, I'm ready right now.
Right.
So we've done a good job. Mrs. Denny has done an excellent job of pushing out regular communication. We have a communication piece each week to our school community, our external community, about the model and about how that's going to change what we do.
I think one thing that's very exciting for our staff is that it's really going to be able to bring creativity back to the classroom that they may have had a little bit of before, but they're really going to be able to create projects. There's going to be a wide range of resources for them to look to that from New Tech Network, but they'll also be able, around the project base, really be very creative with their students and where they lead them.
Are these type of projects that will be solely looked upon in the school district, or are we going to see this out within City Forest Park and beyond?
We would absolutely love to work with our local businesses. I think it's very exciting to think about having our business leaders come in and see our students, see their future employees. You know, I always say that my best win in a day is when someone gets to visit and gets to meet our students, because they're a product and they showcase our district in an amazing way.
Yeah, central to the design is that students are engaged in real projects. So I think of one that comes naturally to mind to me is the promenade, which really sits kind of half empty, you know, premium location. And so that's a great project to put in the hands of our children. You know, this is your community, whether we approach it from a science standpoint or a civics standpoint, economic standpoint, you know, here's the project, have at it.
And I love the way that you looked at that. It's not just one category. There's other categories that it can go into, whereas I hate to say it, the traditional model would have looked at it in this is one means. Now it looks like we're broadening our horizons and broadening the horizons of our students.
Right.
The other piece too is our feedback from teachers that have been in the traditional classroom, have gone to New Tech and taught with that foundation, and then gone back and then thought about going back to traditional. They say they can't do it. After they've been a part of project-based learning and see what it does for the students, for their students, and the relationship that it builds with them, and all of the characteristics and attributes that come out of the student in their college and career readiness, those outcomes, they can't go back to traditional teaching.
That is truly an amazing, it shows the power of what this technology can do.
Right.
You had mentioned a rollout of 2 schools a year. Can you give that calendar out? Do we know?
Sure.
Obviously, you know what that is.
So next year, the high school and the middle school will fully implement the model. The following year, the intermediate and the elementary, and then the following year, the primaries and preschool. So there are small teams in the other buildings that are doing pilots before their rollout. But that is how the grant was written.
Sure.
So that's the rollout. It's pretty aggressive, actually, but I have complete faith that we can do it.
I think you said the operative word there with grant. Obviously, as a concerned citizen and a parent probably watching this or listening to this right now, where's the funding coming from? Because obviously this is not going to be something that's easily funded or comes out of a...
The funding, we applied for a straight A grant through the state of Ohio, the Ohio Department of Education. Straight A grants are highly competitive, and they were really designed, this is really year 3, and they were designed to help Ohio schools approach academic improvement in innovative ways. And so I'm proud to say that we were only one of 2 districts in Southwest Ohio that won a straight A grant. And we got a considerable amount of money, but nothing is cheap. And so this is an all-in commitment. And because we believe in our students and we believe in the district.
You believe in this project, and it's obviously the means of going forward.
Unequivocally, absolutely.
Well, this is a wonderful way to start our first podcast and pod show here on Wittenwood's Intent. I'm glad to have both of you on, but it looks like we're running out of time. So we will be joined back next month, with Mr. Smith and some new and great, wonderful things that are happening here in Wittenwood's district. So I want to thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.
And of course, giving us that great information about new tech technology.
Could I add one more thing?
You can add whatever you need, Trina.
Thank you so much. So we have a digital literacy showcase coming up on March 8th, and we thought last year, and kind of looking at we need to have some community conversation, we thought this would be the perfect opportunity to combine that with a community conversation. So we're going to showcase some student projects. We're going to have a presentation for 30 minutes on New Tech Network, and then for 30 minutes we're going to have a panel of teachers and students where our community and our parents can come in and ask questions. Let's understand what we're doing. Let's ask students and teachers that have been there, done that, and can really and they can see firsthand from our students what New Tech is all about.
And when will that be?
That'll be March 8th at the high school.
Okay.
Beginning at 6:30, which starts the showcase. 6:30 the showcase, and 7 o'clock the presentation, and then 7:30 will be our question and answer portion.
Wonderful. We will definitely make sure that information is passed along, and again, giving that information now is always the key.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us as well. We have an intent to inform you, and that is what we're here for on Wittenwood's Intent. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.